there are always going to be issues, right? So what we want to be able to do is what? Figure out document the issues, and then try to help each other and figure it out. So pass this sheet along. So we're going to do a quiz first that we have. I stay here, we'll do a quiz. If you don't do well on this quiz, this will be not a good omen, right? So let's take a sheet here, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's so much excitement in the room, huh? I should do this every day. 3, 4, 5. You pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick 1, 2, 3. Everybody have one? Who does not have one? Who does not have a blue sheet? Everybody have a blue sheet? Okay, everybody has a blue sheet. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do this is quiz. This is quiz 1. You don't do this well. Okay. I don't want to be mean, but okay. So what you're going to do, you're going to take this piece of paper like this. Everybody do it with me. Okay? And we're going to pretend like in the old days that we're going to then fold it into thirds. Like this. Everybody with me? Fold it into thirds this way. Not this way, but this way. And then I'm going to start off first. And what I'm going to do in large letters, I'm going to put the name, my name, and I'll put it right in front of me. This way I'll put it right here that you can see it. I'll even put it right here, that you can see it in front. And what are we going to use? We're going to use it for that people from the front can see your name and people from the back can see your name. Okay? Some of you were already running for the door, right? So one of the things here, what I want you to do is, but I don't want you to do it with a pencil, right? What I want you to do is with a strong marker. So I'm going to pass, what is your name? Manal. I'm going to pass this to Manal first, and she's going to use the marker, and everybody's going to pass the marker so I can see and everyone can see. Now, last time that we were here, one of the things that we were talking about is how many bad days do you have in this class? Anybody remember?
0.
How many remember? 1. This is a class participation class. What do I expect? That you be prepared for the class. You may not know all the answers, but you're prepared for the class and you will be called on. But everybody once in a while has a bad day. I'm not going to be, so the day that you don't want to be called on, what you can do is you can put your name tag down. And that means that I won't pick on you. What I suggest you do, days get worse along the way, right? So I suggested you don't use it this time. Now what I want from Manal, like we said before, is we want it both ways. She has it on this side. What is she missing? She wants to put it on this side too. So not only can I see Manal, but everybody behind her and say, God, this woman is really smart. I want to be able to connect with her after the class to be able to see what she's going to be doing here. And she can, and possibly we can help each other. So one of the things here is Manal did want to have it on both ways, okay? So that's the first thing. You bring this to class, and this way we have it, we get to know each other. All right. So today is Wednesday, the 23rd, and what I'm going to be doing here is I have my computer here, as we talked about, I'm doing a lot of technology here, and I'm trying it out, and I'm going to try to record the classes and see, in this case, a lot of times we'll have guest speakers that can come into the class through this way, and people that want to review or weren't able to be here in class can also review, and we can see what are the issues here of a way in which we're doing video conferencing. I'm going to do one video conferencing. What did I want you to do? In order to be able to collaborate, you should be doing video conferencing as well. So let me start with my video conferencing. So I'm going to go to YouTube. And in YouTube, I'm going to go to Creator Studio. And within Creator Studio, under this live streaming, and Cindy, will you be broadcasting live?
Yes.
Okay, in this case, so one of the things here, if you can see it, and then behind you, if you can see it, if it shuts off, let me know, because then other people are going to be trying to see this, and they won't be able to see it. And in this case, I have something that I set up already of 123, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m., and what am I using? What video conferencing system am I using? Google Hangouts on Air. There's a Google Hangouts and there's a Google Hangouts on Air. What do you think the difference is? Raise your hand. Yes. What is your name? What, yeah. What?
I'm Dan, but
Dan.
I'm guessing on air is live.
Yeah, it's going to be broadcasting and live broadcasting. By the way, did you check out NinjaTrader? Did you do NinjaTrader at all? Yeah, check that out yet? Okay. So let's do this. So I'm going to go in here, start Google Hangouts on Air. Now, one of the things that I talked about last time is this is a different class in which I use this class in a different way than maybe traditional education is. I'm trying to part of my research is trying to disrupt education. It shouldn't be that I'm here, you're there, you're static, you just listen, and I do all the work. It should be a collaborative effort, just like the world is collaborative in this case. So one of the things that I do is I do mistakes, stating it right up front. And one of the things that I expect from you is when you find mistakes that I do, is to raise your hand and say, hey, wait a minute, you forgot to start broadcast. I do that sometimes. You know, I'm getting involved. So one of the things I should do right now is doing what? Start broadcast. So when one of the things I want to do is start broadcast, I say, okay. And at this point, I can share my screen. Now, one of the things we got to figure out is, how do I know it's really broadcasting? Because on my end, I have to start the broadcast, right? The other part is, what else? I'm using Google Hangouts on Air, and what else? YouTube. Who owns YouTube? Google, right? So what happens here, this basically is not residing on my machine. Where's it residing? That streaming is going to be residing where? Pardon? Somewhere in Google's cloud and Google server, right? So there could be a problem with Google, there could be a problem with YouTube, there could be a problem with the internet, it could be a problem here at the university, right, that we're using their bandwidth. So I don't know. So one of the things that we'll learn in technology is what we always have to check, recheck, and check. And if anybody tells you about new technology, there's no problem. I can tell you two things. This is my philosophy. Either they're lying to you or they don't know what they're talking about. Because there's always going to be issues, there's always going to be problems with new technology. The idea is, how do we address it? And how do we basically find out what to do? So, I am starting the broadcast, and I want to share my screen. And what else do you have to remind me? Am I mic'd? No. So, there's a couple of things that you guys got to remind me of. Basically doing what? Start the broadcast and also archive. Also, you can hear my voice. My voice, basically, you'll see that I get laryngitis. Why? I talk a lot, right? And after a while it is. So we got to make sure that I am Mike. And we have problems. Right? So I need basically people that are in audio, right, to help me. Basically, we need to do it. And I'm doing this as experimental. Can you imagine a regular professor doing all this crap? You know, they say, hey, forget it. I like to come to my class with my little notebook, right, and give the same lecture over and over again, and that's it. So I'm trying to basically try this as eating my own dog food, and you're going to eat it with me, right, and trying this out. So one of the things here, we got the mic going. I set this up, and now I have to figure out, is it really broadcasting? Everybody understand what my question is? What's my question before we can even answer it? So what's my question? And your name is?
Tyler,
Yeah, Tyler. What's my question?
how do you know you're broadcasting?
How do I know I'm broadcasting? Good. How do I know? Anybody remember? How do I figure that out?
You could check the link.
I could check the link, right? I have two ways to check the link. One way to check the link is right here, right? That it's going to tell me that I have a link here. And what else? I'm going to start here. What else? Here I want to share my screen. Right? I'm going to share my link. So I have a link here, which is youtube.be. And we have this link. Where else can you check the link? Anybody remember? Anybody remember my telephone number? The Psycho, right? So in this case here, what we can do is we can go to what? Steemit.com, STEEMIT.com/@the-psycho. That's also my phone number, remember? Right? So we can go there. And what are we going to look for? Today's date. Is this today? Does this look like our class? And so what should we do? Who can help me? Click here. Let's see what happens. Click in here. And it should be, this is the link here, and it should be here. So you can go in even. What I suggest you do, this way you can make sure, so for Gina, for instance, in the beginning of the class, you can go there and see, you can use like a headphone, right, in terms of that, and we can see, is this working? In terms of that, we can see, is this working? What's that delay? It's a bit of a delay there. This is in the, are they participating or are they just viewing? Just viewing it. How many people can view this? Right, so we could have millions, theoretically, we could have millions join our class and view the class. And part of my research is looking at disrupting it. It may be that we have people in the class and then we can have other people join our class from around the world, and they can even be, in this case, they don't even have to sign up, they can just view it, and then if they like it, then basically we can then put it on, we can give them like quizzes and see if they like it, and if they like it, then they can register to the class, and then they could even stay throughout the semester, and only when they wanted academic credit, they could do it. And those people within the class basically monitoring, for instance, like James today and Cindy is doing it, we're thinking about putting it on blockchain, we could put it as part of what we call a token, and those people would get contributions, they could get tokens basically in a way they could get paid for participating in the class. And other people in the class may be monitoring. If it was such an exciting class and we had thousands of people there being on the chat and so forth, we could have it, and we could actually do participation. So these are types of things that I'm trying to do, and we see that it is broadcasting. So that's one good one. And then we have something here, just so you know, this is a long URL, you'll see, and that's for people to participate. Up to 10 people can participate at a time using Google Hangouts on air, where they can be actual live speakers. Okay, any questions about that? So we got kind of the basics down. Once everybody was here, we had the basics down. So now I'm going to go to courses, or Blackboard, what we call it. And I'm going to log in with my Kane ID. And in my Kane ID, I'm going to sign in. And it says right here, courses where you're an instructor. That's me, I'm the instructor, and we know that in information systems we have different roles. And we talked about last time something called the need to know. And what does that mean? Roles in information systems, you can put this in your note, roles in information systems should be controlled by the need to know. Roles in information systems need to be controlled by the need to know. What does that mean?
I think it could mean that information should only be shared for specific people, specific information for people who...
Based on your task, based on where you are in an organization, you would have roles to do your job. So for instance, my job, for instance, is to teach this class, right? So I need to know what are your test scores, in which class. Only in this one. How many are taking other classes than this lovely class? Raise your hand, right? Do I need to know your grades in your other class to do my job? No. Should I have access to your grades in your other classes? No. Should I even have access to your transcript? No. I'm not your advisor, right? I'm not deciding in admissions. I only need to know. Sometimes I may need to know your schedule, right? If I want to do an additional, maybe additional course or additional time to do it. But I have that need to know. So my need to know in BTE KY, I am the instructor. What are you? Student. And there's another section where what? You're teaching assistant. And why didn't I make you the instructor? Any idea? Because teaching assistant, you say, hey, you know, I'm good enough. James here is already going. Yes?
Because we don't need to know what you need to know.
I have a little bit more authority, meaning that you can't delete me. But you can delete all your other teaching assistants, right? And I could delete you. So the idea here, you're still going to get all the rights that I have in that audit area, but I put one below that I don't want to be locked out of my own course. Right? That is, in that case. So you have to make those understandings when you're doing security, when you're doing computer security. Okay, everybody with me so far? So let's do this. How many new people do I have in the class? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What else? Raise your hand high. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You now you decide you're new?
No,
5, 6. Okay, 7. So one of the things is we're going to need to do groups, and what we basically have is we can have our new people, and you've already joined a group, we can have people join groups or even among those that are here. I'm going to go through the material, the first part of the class, from the books and from our readings, and give you a homework assignment. The second part of the class, I'll look at your group work that you did last week, give you feedback, and we call that agile development. Everybody remember that? Those of you that were here with me, it was called agile development. Anybody remember what that was? And what did we say we want to do? We always want to bring what? Our laptops to class, if we can. We also have it, and what do we want to know? If we don't know a concept, what should we do?
Look it up.
Look it up, right? So your idea, where's my marker going? Where is it? Okay, so we're moving on with it? Okay. Do we have you have your name tag? Put your name tags in front that I can see it. You don't want to hide it. Okay, so what is Agile development? Did you find it, Cindy? Let's ask somebody. What did we find? Agile development. Okay, did you find it? Agile development.
Yeah,
Okay, what'd you find?
it's an approach to software development under which requirements and solutions evolve through the collaborative effort of self-organizing and cross-functional teams and their customers and users.
Okay. And now we gotta figure out what that means in English, right? Teams, collaboration, right? So I'm gonna have teams and I'm gonna have collaboration. And what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna do small tasks and get feedback as we do our tasks. So as we do our homeworks, for instance, James, what we're gonna be able to do is I gave one assignment 1 week, and this time, because we had the holiday, we had 2 weeks, which was a little bit more difficult, is that we want to give feedback and see, is this, you can think about it as I'm like the customer or the end user, and did you get it right when I tried to say, this is what I want? And usually, first time around, Kate, do you think you get it 100% correct? No. It's just in life, you know, when you have discussions with people, right, we have to work it through when we're trying to do a project. So we know we're not going to get it right immediately, but what we're going to do is we're going to do short intervals, make sure everyone in our group understands what the task is, give everybody a specific task to do, and the following time we see them in a short period of time, check to see if it works. That's what Agile development is. And we're going to do projects in this class, and instead of waiting to the end of the semester, we're going to go along each week and get feedback on it. And that's how we can do in terms of technology. Okay? So, and that's being the case, I'm going to first go to our generic course. That you are the student, I am the instructor. So where do I go? Which course, which section do I go to? KY, BTE, KY. The group should be BTE audit because you're going to basically audit your work. And I'm going to audit. Everybody's going to audit each other's work. So I'm going to go to KY. And there should be a couple of things. Everybody that was here, right? We saw the course syllabus that we had, right? That we downloaded. We downloaded the course syllabus, and we talked about the course syllabus that you could see. People were asking me all along, what type of book should I get? I like hard copy. Somebody else said I like online. Somebody else said I like it to download on my computer. And my answer is, I don't care what format you use. You can use any format that you feel comfortable with. The best reading style. My own conjecture was, I'm cheap, so I like to get it the least amount of money I can. Some other people were asking me, anybody have the older edition or anything? Some people were trying older editions, and I was saying my contention on the older editions is just make sure that you check with someone else on the newer editions and just understand what the differences are. Sometimes they add additional chapters, and sometimes they add additional materials, but it's up to you. You can use anything that you would like, okay? And besides that, there are quizzes online. It's under assignments, so those of you that are new, put a note there. You have to check each week for assignments. what's available under assignments. Up to now, these assignments, right now, I didn't put a due date on it. They're usually due the following week, but right now I'm still letting it be open because do you see what we have here? We have students coming in, we have students leaving. So in this case, if I set it up, then I would have to reset it. So right now it is. The quizzes, put a note to yourself as well. The quizzes basically are for you. I let you right now, how many attempts did you have up to now? 2 attempts. Was it closed book? No. Was it closed internet? No. Was it, you could check anytime you wanted. So this basically is for you in order to figure out, do I understand the material, and is there something that I need to come to class and either beforehand ask my group or ask other members, and if they don't understand and I've done the research, please, we'll ask it out loud and see it. There may be problems with the quiz questions. It may be, you know how it is, multiple choice or true, false, or whatever, you can read it. So if you find issues, basically I use the term extra credit in terms of I want you to be critical. I want you in terms of that to participate. So you should have done, and this one we're going to leave it open, of chapter 1 and TG1, which is the tech guide of hardware we're open. For the next time, I want Tech Guide 2, which is software, to be available to you. So what do I need to do? I basically need to not edit the test, but edit the test options. And the reason why I'm showing it to you, because you're going to be using it a lot of things in your audit area. And what should I do here? I say it's Tech Guide 2 software. And what should I say? Open test, a new window. That's good. What should I change here? Make available to students. And at this point, I can make it, did I do it? And if I didn't do it, it's your responsibility to let me know, hey, you passed it and you didn't check the right one. We're basically, I'm looking at you as we're learning this together. It's almost like we're in this together. We're in this journey together to learn together, and the more that we can help each other, we don't have to go through rudimentary things. I don't have to basically go through every PowerPoint slide with you. Because what am I expecting? That you can read. What I don't expect is that you will understand everything. But basic stuff, why waste our time? Don't we love that? I mean, life is short and life is beautiful, so why waste our time on things that we all know? And that way I expect then, this is not a slacker class. You know, because the University of Miami used to have that reputation, right, of, you know, suntan you and slackering and so forth. In this class, this is not the reputation. So we'll be able to do this as well. So in this case here, we have multiple attempts. And I'm going to give, either I give one attempt or not. Since we're in the beginning and it's for you, I'm going to give you 2 attempts. Okay, so you know that. And I'm going to do the last grade attempt will be graded. So hopefully, right, the second time around, right, you're going to do better than the first time. And you can see here I can display until, I can make time frames. Right now I don't want to make time frames. Because we want to be, we're going to be fluid in this case. I expect you to be able to do that, right? I'm able to see it. And we got the due date, show the test results. Hopefully it's after the submission, right, and what's submitted, and in this case, all at once, and I'm going to submit. So how do you know that it worked?
We'll be able to see it.
You should be able to see it on your end. So that's what your responsibility. See how this is collaborative, just like I'm talking about. Can you see it?
No.
So there's issues. Isn't that beautiful? It's like we rehearsed. Right? So what did I do wrong? And notice I must have done something or something. So what do I need to do? I have to edit the test options, right? available, right? Somebody didn't catch it, including myself, right? And now can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah. Isn't that beautiful? And then I could leave, we don't see each other for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden, right, the quiz is here, and they say, and whose fault was it? It was our fault, right? But anyway, so we got that, so we know that is taken, we got the quiz. Okay. We're getting kind of the areas together of basically what are the backgrounds, how are we going to run this class, we got this together. So we know that we have assignments there. Course documents, in the regular teaching section, you have something called PPT, and what do you think that is? It's going to be my chapters, right? So I'm going to have chapter 1, right? I should be able to have my chapter 1 available to me, right? And I have chapter TG1, right? And I go back, and then I'm going to have my TG1 here, and then if I go back here, I know I have my chapter 1 here, and I'm going to open up this. You should be able to read through these PowerPoint slides as well, and what should you be able to do in this case when you're having those issues? We'll go over these issues for a negative. So I know I have my PowerPoint. Everybody okay with that? Where everything is, make sure we have it. We have another area, basically this area here, I know I have my course documents and my PowerPoints, I have my assignments and my quizzes, and then in my web links, I have a number of web links that I was talking about. The first one we talked about was student resources for the book. The second one was comparing of screencasting software. We talked about that. And let's go to the very bottom. Okay, so next to the very bottom here, one of the things you see here, the free NYT, and Wall Street Journal digital subscriptions. What I want you to do, if we click on that, the University of Miami provides us resources, and what I always say is, let's take advantage of all the resources they have. One of the resources they have for this semester is live web editions of the New York Times and Wall Street Journal now available. So what I'd like everyone to do is visit the link for next time if you haven't done it. Put this down in your notes then. Let's do this. Manon, do me a favor. Where's the marker? Where's the markers here? This is the last one. Are they numbered? Great. Yeah, who else needs to be signed up? Anyone else need signing here? Good. So, Manon, can you do me a favor? Take the marker and let's put on this side, well, let me just do it here instead. Let me just do it on this side. Let's make this as homework, right? We know that we have to do, for next time, we know we at least have to do what? If you haven't, we needed to do the quizzes under assignments. Which ones should we have already done? We should have done what? Chapter 1, right? What else? TG1, and for next time, we need to do at least TG2. Listed as TG2A, right? And the other thing we know we need to subscribe. And how much does it cost, these two, Wall Street and New York Times? Kate, how much do they cost?
Nothing.
Not us, right? So take advantage of it. It does cost if you want to be outside, after you read 10 articles, they start charging. You want to subscribe, take advantage of it. You only can get this if you have a Kane ID and password. So we want to subscribe to NYT, New York Times, and Wall Street Journal. And how do you find those? On the web links. Questions up to now? How are we doing, Kate?
Good.
Okay, good. So we got those two. We can get the New York Times. We can see other ones, and you can see here. You also get Miami Herald if you want. We'll talk about some other things later on of what we can do at Newsbank. Okay, so we got that. The other thing I want to share with you, you see here, Women in Technology Summit Series, IT Expo, Dr. Sarah Rushenick, keynote luncheon address. And this is Women in Technology Summit Series, IT Expo. Dr. Sarah Rushenick will be delivering the keynote luncheon address and hosting panels on tech trends for 2019 on January 30th in the Fort Lauderdale Convention Center. Let Dr. Rushenick know if you would like to attend. Opportunities for students to network, attend an IT Expo. If you go to this link, you'll see this is the entire day, and they're giving a special rate for $95, and then they're saying what you get. What I'm telling you in the class, if you would like to go, let me know, and you will be my guest. For how much, Kate? Free. So in this case, you can do this. Notice you'll see that I love what? Free. Okay? But notice when there's a good, that these are some of the speakers that will include it, and yours truly will be there. There's also going to be, we'll be able to see her probably. She'll come into our class. The chief security officer for the University of Miami will be in the class. And if you view the schedule, there's going to be some storytelling, some leadership. The keynote session will be with me. Research has shown that women in technology are great for business. Surprise, surprise. How do we break down the barriers that hold women back? And I'll be discussing details. And then there's going to be some coaching circles. And then the top tech trends for 2019. How can we take advantage of the opportunities globally and especially in South Florida? And then I have a list of some panelists there. Then there'll be a keynote from Dell on IT, and then there'll be another one from Dr. Ben, who's the Chief Innovation Officer for Industrial Sector, Watson, and Cloud Platform, IBM. What's Watson? With IBM. What's Watson, IBM? Yes. Another Dan, right?
It's like their AI system.
Their AI system, and what specifically, it's like their AI system. AI stands for what, Dan?
Artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence, basically, and what is artificial intelligence? You have any idea?
It's just like system learning.
It's basically artificial intelligence is trying to let the computer start learning. Basically, our intelligence is that when we make a mistake, that's okay, but what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to learn from our mistakes, right? So in this way, we're going to do some artificial intelligence, and Watson in the beginning is starting in, basically they started in what, Jeopardy? Anybody ever see that on TV? Basically the computer played Jeopardy, then they started healthcare, then they started finance, looking at patterns, recognizing patterns, trying to figure out these patterns. So they'll be talking about it, and cloud platform means what? Who can tell me what cloud platform is? Raise your hand. Cloud platform. And if you don't know what cloud platform is, what should you be doing? Is not looking at me so much, but figuring out what it is. Did you make him a name tag? So help her out, Jamie. See if that pen works. Mark. Show her what yours is, James. She can. What's cloud platform? Tiffany, did you find cloud platform?
No, not yet.
Okay, so let's go. What do we got? Rachel, what did we get? Did you find it?
The hardware of a server and internet-based system.
Okay, well, who else found something? Cloud platform. Gia, what'd you find?
So it's for a cloud computing device, which includes applications that let users create and manage their own accounts.
Okay. Any ideas in English what all this means? Yes, do.
It could be the use of services made available over the internet.
Okay, basically, it's a way in which to get data, to get software, to get hardware via a web browser. I can compute on the web. I can gain software on the web. I can gain data on the web. It resides not on my laptop or on my computer. And my computer and my laptop, put this in your notes, is called on-premise. What's on-premise mean? It means the spot where I am in. Traditionally, computing, for instance, at a university, anybody get email from the university? Outlook, who gets that? Right? Traditionally, Outlook servers, and servers are basically computers that stored software for, let's say, Outlook. The university had computers and had a staff to take care of what they called the mail server. The email for the entire university was done, and it was residing in hardware on computers on premise, meaning inside the university, in a room. And basically, for instance, the School of Business used to have its own server residing in some rooms in the business school. The law school had their own email residing where? In the law school. Medical school, the same thing. And then it became the cloud service, and what did the cloud say? Basically, in this case, Outlook. Who owns Outlook? Microsoft came to the university and said what? We'll do a cloud platform for email. And what does that mean? What does that mean? Anybody understand what I just asked? What does it mean when Microsoft came to the university and said, you know what? We're not going to, instead of having our software reside on your computers, we're going to take care of it on the cloud. What does it mean to the university? Why go for that deal? Yes.
You have to pay for all that extra equipment.
First of all, they don't have to pay for the hardware. What else? The updates, when there was a new version of Word, Excel, Office, what did the university have to do? Buy the new software and what? Install it on all the labs, install it on their hardware. They had to have an entire IT staff. Basically, their job was what? To do the mail server, to do the Office, Microsoft. And now what's Microsoft saying? Guess what? We'll take care of it. Where will it reside? Basically on their server. And when they say in the cloud, it looks like, hey, dreamy, you know, what am I seeing? You know, anybody see the red moon the other night, right? That was pretty neat. What does it mean? It means basically it's on their computers, maybe around the world. And how do you gain access to it? The cloud means you're getting access to computers via what? A web browser. So in order to use it, do I need internet access? Yes, I need internet access to get that. Sometimes what I can do, I can store some things and then later on I can upload. So that is areas that we'll talk about. So this is the IT Expo. Then they're going to have 5 to 7. They have a networking reception. I always like that. Mix, mingle, food. Free food. I like that too. Okay, meet summit attendees and speakers to schmooze, share lessons, and learn. And they basically have hundreds of vendors there in AI, in work life, in different ways. It's an entire IT expo. And and that's from 5 to 7 in Fort Lauderdale. And the next day you could, if you wanted to, it goes Thursday and Friday as well. The issue here, what I want to do is what day? Anybody remember what day it is? Wednesday. What's the 30th? And what's the issue there is we usually meet here. So put in your notes that next week, either if you can join me in Fort Lauderdale, you can join me. I'm also going to be doing my talk, so how can I let you hear what I'm going to be saying, other than you physically can do? What? Oh, wow. I can then broadcast. So what I'm going to try to do, and notice I'm trying, because notice I'm trying, because guess what? What do I depend on? Google, and what do I have to have? Internet access. I'm going to be in the convention center, so hopefully I'll have good what? Internet access. So I'm going to broadcast, and my broadcast, if you can't see it live, Google Hangouts on Air will also archive it. Archiving meaning saving it. So formally next week, you can put this in your notes, we're not going to meet here. He's so excited. Okay? But guess what? Do you think you're going to have any assignments to do? Would I let you be without thinking about me all those weeks, right? No. So I'm going to be with you in spirit and also basically virtually. So we will have additional assignments. For those additional homework assignments, one of the things you may want to do is you can meet virtually with your group, or you say, hey, what's a great time is everybody has free, basically Wednesday nights, you can meet next week here. Who has class before this in this building? Okay, can you do me a favor, both of you, can you come next week? I'm going to give you, who else has class? Raise your hand. But who has class right before this? Yes. What is your name again?
Tyler?
Tyler. Do me a favor, Tyler, and your group, come here and at least put a note on the board
Okay.
stating that we don't have formal class here, okay? So you know how people are coming in and out and all of a sudden I'm getting these things. This way we know that we check that off. We'll have additional, I'll give you additional assignments to do, but you know that we have this. But if you can make it, or even make it on the other date, let me know. You can send me an email. And also, another point that I have for you, I sometimes go to Blackboard, and I'll send you a class email. And it's done by, did I send that to this class? Yes? And the problem is if I send a class email, let me just do it now. Right, if I'm here and I go to, what do I have to do? If I go to users and I do users, and I want to send an email to, let's say, single select users, and I'll select all, and the subject is no formal class. What date is it going to be? Wednesday. Yeah, 30th, right? And then I'll say, let me know if you would like to attend. Like to attend event. Okay? And then if I submit, and I'll say I want a copy, and I submit, and I check my email, check your email, you get it?
Yeah.
And where's it, who's it coming from?
You?
Does it say it comes from me? Look at the reply address. Right, and then it says, at this point it says what? What is this part? Let me go to my details here. You can't I have this, you see here, do not reply at Amazon, and it says Amazon AWS communityhouse.com. I got that part. So it says do not reply. Make sure that you send it to my s.rushenik or my drsrush@gmail account. Sometimes I'll send it and people are sending me messages, and then when I reply to you, the problem is I don't know what your email is. So even if you reply here, I don't know what your email is. So make sure that you send it to me and that you proceed. Okay? So we got that part out of the way. All right, so that was in my links here. So I was doing the web links. We know that the web links are there. Another homework assignment, if you go all the way down, is you'll see trends in fintech. Everybody see that? Web links, trends in fintech. I want you to read the article of trends in fintech. How many people are finance majors? Got quite a few, right? So fintech, basically, we got to figure out what is fintech, how will it change the financial industry, what is RegTech? Anybody even hear of RegTech? In financial industries, are there any regulations you have to abide to? Of course you have to. There's something even in banking that's called KYC. What's that Kentucky Fried Chicken? That's KFC, no? So there's another acronym. It's KYC. Anybody? It's not Kentucky. Your chicken. Anybody know what that means? Know your customer. In banking, there's a thing called know your customer that, what was that supposed to prevent? What do you think, Kayla? Know your fraud, basically money laundering, right? Illicit ways, the Patriot Act, right? We don't want to be funding drug dealers. We don't want to be funding terrorists, right? We want to be able, and the way that banks used to say is, hey, listen, I money laundered this dictator, right? That was doing all these crimes, and what happened in terms of the KYC is the bank said, hey, I didn't know where you got the money. Well, you have to know who your customer is, and when they give you bundles of cash, right, that they're bringing in every day, it's like, where did you get that? And you show me where is these for businesses that you're just not laundering money. And where is the money? What city does quite a bit of money laundering? Anybody know? Miami. Miami is basically, anybody ever look at Brickell? Right? Have you ever seen all those towers in Brickell and all that money like flowing in Brickell? Where's that coming from? Sometimes you wonder to yourself, right? That huge amount of, and you say, how many people can live in all that? And then you see all those, right? All those offices kind of not even there's any lights going on, right? What is going on here, right? So there's a whole thing of what we can do with real estate, right? There's a whole avenue here when you can see what it is. Also in healthcare, where's one of the capitals of healthcare fraud? What city is number one? Miami too, on healthcare fraud, right? That I basically can start bilking, right, the government for millions and millions of dollars of basically patients that don't exist. What is more valuable, a patient's health record or your credit card number? Health record is much more valuable because in that, what happens? Anybody ever get a call from the fraud alert from your credit card? Anybody ever get that? Who got one? I got one. I get them all the time, right? The fraud alert kind of things. The banks are really up on it. And what do they use for technology, the banks, for that fraud detection, you think? Machine learning, artificial intelligence. They basically look for patterns, right? How you're doing difference of patterns. And why are they spending millions of dollars on that? Because who picks up the bill when somebody steals your credit card? You do or the bank?
The bank.
The bank. That's what they wanna invest in. So that's in the way in which we can do KYC. So for the next time we meet, it's not gonna be on January 30th, but what date? February what? February 6th? Wow, sounds so far away. So please come to Fort Lauderdale. I'm gonna miss you guys so much. Okay, so February 6th, that's the following, so 2 Wednesdays from there. And let me make a note here. We also put a note in your, write it down, is on the reading day, the first reading day, we're gonna have class at this time. The first reading day, we'll have class. One is to make up next week, and also I want to give you a review before the exam. So in that case, we'll be able, you know what I mean? Since we're going to be doing the presentations the week before, I want to make sure that everybody's prepared for the exam. So we'll do reading day, we'll do it as an exam review, also to answer any questions you have. I may do a bit of lecture, but my main focus will be doing a review. So we'll use that reading day, and I'll reserve this room since we know that this room, we're used to it. If we need to move to another room, we'll find out. Okay? So we got this. So I know, so put in your notes, another thing is trends in fintech. On the web links, you need to read the article and answer the questions. How then are you going to then submit your work?
On Blackboard.
On Blackboard where?
Audit.
Audit area, and doing what? Basically, you can make then another folder for trends in fintech. When you submit your work, you should put in your name of your work, right, and the date that you submitted, and answering these questions. What is fintech? How will it change? What is RegTech? And how will AI, which is artificial intelligence, machine learning, and blockchain be enhancing fintech? In order to answer this question, you're going to have to figure out what is AI, what is machine learning, and what is blockchain. Yes?
When is due?
When is it due?
Oh, before class.
Before class. I'm going to give you more of assignments here because what? We won't be seeing each other for 2 weeks. Basically next week and the week after. So that's why there's going to be, I'm adding these up to make sure that everybody understands exactly. I want you to jot it down as we're doing the homework assignments. Okay? Questions? Yes, James.
It's the third folder then, in like the audit section of the
Yes.
page, and then everyone moves this up a bit,
Yes.
it's a folder.
Perfect. Everybody, you want to repeat that, James, so everybody can hear it? Tell everybody.
You make a third folder in the group section, and then everyone in the group just puts it in that folder.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one folder.
Yes.
Professor, do we need to, like, 3 group members have to answer the questions together? Everyone
No,
has to.
this is an individual assignment. You can help each other, but it's an individual assignment. And if one of the persons in your group decides not to do it, in that assignment, you will not be penalized. Okay? Yes.
And what if one of your group member has already left the job?
Okay, we'll talk about group members and all the divorces and marriages and interrelationships here. We'll talk about in a minute, okay? We'll be, you know, this is a class where we'll have a lot of relationships, okay? We'll talk about that in a moment. Let me just talk about the assignment, not about relationships right now. Okay, questions on that? So everybody clear with this? I'm just going a little bit slower here because we have new people, we have old people that have left, and then we have make sure that everything is done here. Okay. Okay, the first chapter of Introduction to Information Systems, you should have, and those that have come late, you should read that on your own. And I'm just going to basically, those first chapters is basically, why should anybody, what are the career opportunities for information technology, how to improve it, what's it beneficial for you, is not of, right now of my interest here, but basically to think about information technology, there's something called CIO. And what's a CIO? Chief of Information. Who is the CIO of this institution? Do we have one?
Yeah. Ernie Fernandez.
And what does it say about him, Kayla?
He's the vice president for information technology.
Okay, and do we know anything about him?
He served as the general manager of IBM's U.S. public sector market, where he supervised an estimated $5 billion in the corporation's business.
Okay, and when did he come on board, do we know? Is he recent, is he in the past? Anybody find out? How long has he been around? So he's from IBM and he came here and he's their chief information officer. Let's try to figure out, maybe we can invite him. The class. Let him tell us how he's keeping us safe, right? We're gonna invite also the chief information security officer. She's gonna be on my panel, and I'll invite her to the class too. To basically, once we cover security in the class, we'll be able to see, are they doing a good job for us? The past have not, I'll share with you, because it's public knowledge, is what's important with information systems in any organization is security. Anybody hear about people being hacked, right? Hacking is all the time, right? I mean, hacking from my IoT devices, right? What's IoT? Internet of Things, of all my devices that I have, whether it's my Nest thermostat, or whether it's my Ring doorbell, or whether it's my Alexa, or it's going to be my phone, all these devices then can be hacked. And at the university, anybody work for the university? Who works for the university? 1, 2, Rachel, what do you do?
I work in the IT office.
In the IT office, great. So you can help us, so maybe you can help us invite the CIO and all those folks over there. So Rachel, how do you get paid?
Through, it's called Workday.
It's called Workday. So let's figure out what Workday is. So isn't it more interesting than just going through the slides to figure out, so what is Workday? So let's go to Workday. Everybody with me? So how do we go? So let's go to Workday. Right, and if I type Workday, look what it says. You're so excited too, aren't you, Rachel? It says what? It says a cloud ERP system for finance, HR, and planning. So, cloud means what? Do you think Workday then resides here? On premises? No, it resides where? In the cloud. So how do we get access to it? Is through the internet. So basically what this is, Workday is a payroll, a way in which we can do payroll, we can pay people, and the university doesn't have to have a whole team to take care of writing software to do payroll. Doesn't that make sense here? And they do a lot of different things here, and about Workday and the company, it's one of the largest in terms of enterprise level. What does enterprise level mean? Jake, what does enterprise level mean? What do you think enterprise level means? I don't know. So in this class, it's not, I don't know is what? Is that acceptable, guys? What does it mean? Then what does he have to do? Look it up. Who can help him? What is enterprise wide? Aiden, what does enterprise wide mean?
Looking it up right now.
Good. So Jacob, help him. There's a Jake and a Jacob, that's good. So we can differentiate. So what did you, huh?
I'll look it up.
Okay. Gina, what do you got?
It normally talks about a solution that's especially knowledge and resource intensive.
Okay. Knowledge and research. Enterprise basically means, you know what it means? Client in English? Large company. Basically, when they say enterprise-wide, it means selling to an institution, selling to a company on the enterprise rather than an individual. I'm not gonna go to Kayla and sell her something, but we're gonna sell software, for instance, for the entire university, rather than to an individual student or an individual professor. That's what we mean, Jay, by enterprise-wide. So when they say enterprise-wide, it's basically, hey, you think it's $10, $20, $1,000? How much do you think they're paying for that? Sometimes millions of dollars for this software. And they say, why would they pay millions? It's because if you save all their costs, right, that they don't have to maintain the software, they don't have to have all these people. Finish with that. That's a payroll, right, Rachel? You go, anyone else, basically you're using this Workday system to get clocked in, to get paid. Where does it bring your money to, Rachel? If somebody comes and gives you a few dollars, where does it go to?
Directly deposited into your bank account.
Directly deposited into your bank account. Everybody here? Sounds efficient. So you tell me what kind of fraud could occur. Because when this fraud occurred here at this institution, we had a different chief information security officer than we do now. So that may tell you something about that person's role. And we had a different CIO as well. So I don't know the reason, but I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But, what's my question? Where can fraud occur in that process? Did you hear this? Is your name Sabrina? Did you hear what Rachel said? Rachel said, tell it out loud that they can hear you.
The money is directly deposited to my bank account.
Okay, in the Workday system, her amount, her check is directly, of what she worked for, it's directly deposited into Rachel's bank account. Does it get deposited in my bank account? No. Does it get deposited in your bank account? No. It gets deposited in her. Because she has what? She has a different account number. You may even have a different bank than I do. So how can fraud occur? Because it happened in Workday. Let's be creative. In order to do security and hacking, or to be, they call it black hat or white hat. Anybody hear about black hat and white hat? There's companies that they're called white hat hackers. What they do for a living is they go into a company and they say, where are you vulnerable? We'll have some of those people. As a matter of fact, some of those people on my panel, I'll invite them to class too. That's what they do for a living. Right? They go in and they say, we will go into your company and we will try to hack it. They tell the company ahead of time, supposedly. Right, because they're white hat. Okay. So how did they occur?
Maybe if I try to do a fraud, probably I would pretend I paid the employees that were never there, fake employees, and that money that was
okay, that could be.
money laundering,
Okay, that could be. So what she's saying, Evelina? So what Evelina is saying is maybe she's going to create the new employees that are like ghost employees, and then she'll put those ghost employees, she'll put her bank account, or she'll open up a new bank account for those ghost employees, but she has rights to them. That's a good idea, but that's not what happened. Any other idea? Let's think like a hacker. Think like a thief. Yes.
Bank accounts got changed.
The what?
The numbers got changed.
The numbers got changed. That's true. What ended up happening is an email got sent out purporting, let's say, to be Rachel to the system and saying that Rachel is changing her bank account to a new number. And the system didn't catch it, and it went through quite a number of employees at the university. And the system, what should have happened? When Rachel, when it basically tried to be Rachel and it went to Workday and it said Rachel, let's say Rachel Smith is now changing her bank, because it does happen maybe once in blue moon. How often do you change a bank account? Very rarely, right? But you could. I don't want to be in Citibank anymore. I want to be in Bank of America, or I want to be in Wells Fargo. But how often does it occur? Not. And it should have been, and this was allowed to happen to hundreds of employees. What was the control should have been? Did Rachel know about it? She didn't even know. So there should have been a way in which to reach Rachel, maybe by phone, by another method, and say, Rachel, did you change your bank account? And she said, no way. There was a little mark on Workday to say, go ahead and make a phone call or do follow-up with the employee about changing bank accounts. They found a flaw that they just needed to make a little check, and they didn't do it. So that's why I'm talking about in the, when we're thinking about even the PowerPoints, when we talk about why that chief information officer is an executive in charge of the IS function, why that is so important. To be able to see what are they going to do. So they basically then are able, if we look at it, you can think about it as there are other ways: database administrators, software developers, web developers, information security analysts. This area is going to be big, right? Because you think about all the security that's going to be. This area in dealing with data, databases, blockchain, this is all going to be areas. Web developers, and a number of you who are familiar with that. Okay, and then they have what are our job rankings. We don't need to talk about that. But traditionally, the traditional role, they used to call it MIS. MIS stands for Management Information Systems. It used to be, there was a big traditional function of an MIS department, and they did everything for the organization. They managed all your data. They told you what, you used their computers, you used their softwares, and the problem was it was slow, it was bulky, and it was expensive. So what turned out to be in the Management Information Systems Department is they ended up basically trying to do more agile development, trying to get closer to the customer, trying to get closer to the user, and to fulfill the roles in a much quicker manner. And in computer-based information systems, you should know this slide. This slide, and that's why I'm kind of trying to differentiate what you need to know and what isn't, is you need to know the difference between data, information, and knowledge. Sometimes data and information, sometimes these terms are interchanged, but really a lot of times the data is the lower level, information has meaning, and knowledge is that we make some inferences about it. And then there's something what we call the IT infrastructure. The IT infrastructure has IT components in it, and it also has personnel. Like Rachel, who do you work for in IT? Who do you work with? What type of department?
It's like the software licensing.
Software licensing. So that's the division where they're doing basically licensing the software. They have personnel. And what is the issue with personnel? I need to get qualified personnel. And what's the problem with qualified personnel is I have to keep on training them. Because things change all the time. And what else is a problem with IT personnel? What am I worried about? As a chief information officer, or as a president, or as a CFO, the chief financial officer, why would I be worried about IT personnel? Yes.
Maybe they can steal intellectual property.
They know about the system better than we know about the system. They know where the vulnerabilities are, the IT personnel. Just as well as they want to protect it, it's almost like they know where the keys to the bank are. It's almost like in your own house, do you know where the vulnerabilities are? If somebody wanted to break into your house, you know that that window doesn't close quite well, that door is a little bit hard to open. You know that you don't always lock that back door. It's almost like when you're inside, you know where the vulnerabilities are. It's the same thing with the IT personnel. So one of the things is that you really have to have an organization that in one way you don't want, that you want to create morale. You don't want to make sure that I'm looking at you, Rachel, what do you got in your pockets there? You know what I mean? What are you taking out? But the thing is, she doesn't have to worry about what's in her pockets because what? If everything's in the cloud, she can be working from anywhere in the world and taking all my assets. So it wasn't like before, let me check if you have basically any memory stick on you or you're taking out your laptop that doesn't belong to you. It's more I can basically have keys to all the jewels. And then IT services. So those are areas in which you need to know. So you know the difference between data, information, and knowledge. Here is the idea in computer-based information system. You can think about it. There's a lot of procedures that you have to do. And the problem with procedures is that, number one, nobody knows exactly what are the procedures. Nobody reads all those procedures and policies. So there has to be ways to do it. And you can see here all these procedures are done, and these are where we can slip up as well. And then these are the IT components. You need to know this. There's hardware, there's software, there's a database, there's network, there's procedures, and here's the key is people. People being those IT components and also my end users. What else? They have what they call functional area information system. How many accounting names do I have? Do I have any? So I have accounting information systems. I have tax systems. I have basically budgeting systems under accounting. I have finance. I have my fintech. I have production and operations. I have marketing. How many marketing people I have? So now when I think about marketing, now I think about digital marketing, right? I think about transformation, and I have human resources management. So these are the areas in which you can see this one. You can think about it. Here is what they call transaction processing system. What's a transaction? You go, anybody ever go to Whole Foods or Publix? Who's ever gone to a grocery store, right? What's a transaction? Basically, when they scan an item, that's a transaction. Right, that I have those transactions, and then what I have above this to put all these together is what we call enterprise resource planning system. So my accounting, my finance, my marketing, all together make it. And what is the key here? Enterprise, what does that mean, Jake? Enterprise? It's basically like my entire organization, right? That I'm selling that in enterprise resource planning, and then I have my business intelligence systems. Basically here, my dashboard, basically saying, I got all this data. Let's say James then is the chief finance officer and Evelina is the chief marketing officer. Do they need to know different information about the organization? Of course they do. They have then a personalized dashboard for Evelina and a personalized dashboard for James to be able to kind of feel what the organization is about. So these are the ways in which they're talking about it. These are a lot of ways it functions multiple organizations. Support these case studies I'm not going to bother with. And then you should know, look at these types of systems. Table 1-4, put in your notes here. Look over this and then come back to me and tell me what you don't understand. We'll go into more depth about this throughout the information, but they give you a lot of information. It's hard to figure out what you need to know. Okay, this is just examples. Right, and the importance, how it affects our life. Social, we know, and that's the chapter one. Of kind of the key. So what's the key there? It's basically I have the components there. I need to manage them. I need people to manage it. I need basically to create procedures. Let's say we're hacked. Kayla, we're hacked. Somebody broke into our system. Has anybody ever heard of ransomware? You heard of ransomware? What have you heard about it?
It can like lock you out of your computer. But
Just like a ransom, right? God forbid somebody, you guys get kidnapped. You know, you're on your way to your car, you get kidnapped, and somebody calls your parents, right? And they say, hey, you know, give us $1 million and you can get our sweet Cindy back. And hopefully Cindy's parents will want their sweet Cindy back, right? And they say, how much? Where do I deposit it, right? Is it in that tree? You know, what do they say? Don't call the FBI, don't call, you've seen those stories, right? Don't call the cops, right? Just leave it in a paper bag, right? $1 million or something. But instead, they don't have to do that anymore. What do? They basically, in a hospital, freeze the whole hospital out of its computer system. They don't know who's registered for the surgery. Think about a hospital. Does the hospital have any IoT devices in it? All the time, right? God forbid, you know, your grandmother goes into surgery, right? And she's hooked to all these machines that, right? Those machines are what? Basically cloud-based machines that they're sending you, and all of a sudden, hey, we got it hostage. We don't even know what's happening here. How do they pay them in ransomware? They're not going to say put that, $1 million under the tree in front of Baptist Hospital.
I usually transfer it in like Bitcoin.
In Bitcoin, they say transfer in Bitcoin. Why in Bitcoin? For all those thieves, right, that you can't trace it, right? Send me, you know, in this, and basically to this wallet that you'll never find who it is. And how much do they usually ask for? In the past, they haven't asked for a lot, maybe 20,000, 40,000, 50,000, 100,000. It's not those millions. And when you think about a hospital, they usually pay it. Because they say, hey, we need to be up and running. So basically, this is the kind of thing where they're vulnerable. Healthcare, I have any healthcare majors? Industry? That's a great industry to go in. Because I mean, all the industries, I can tell you, they are the least sophisticated here in the United States. They need the most help. Think about it. Have you ever gone to healthcare? I mean, it's ridiculous, right? I mean, the amount of time you have to wait, right? They start writing. They give you things to fill out by pen, right? Isn't it? It's really, when you think about banking compared to healthcare, it's pretty backwards. So there's a lot of opportunities there. So these are ways in which you can think about it. The other part is this hardware part. And let me just, and I'll spend more time when we do it from the kernel slide. But basically, you need to know on the hardware, you need to know these. The CPU, primary storage, secondary storage, input, output, and communications. The CPU is basically the heart of the computer, my central processing unit. And then I have different ways in which I'm going to be looking at it and what happens basically with computers. Computers get what? They become more expensive or less expensive in time doing the same amount. It's going to be less expensive, right? And it's going to be more powerful. We can see those with the devices. So we know where these are going in terms of those servers. Those servers, more and more of these servers are going into the cloud. IBM just released their results, and what they said about IBM is getting out of the hardware business. Because hardware is becoming a commodity. What are they getting into? AI. What else are they going to do? Machine learning. More in intellectual properties rather than hardware. So you can think about it is these you can read on your own. Output devices, gesture devices, input devices, monitors, CPUs. Basically, CPUs, I have a microprocessor, I have a control unit, and I have an ALU, arithmetic logic unit. The arithmetic logic unit basically does arithmetic, The logic is what is greater than the other. That's called the ALU. How the CPU works, my computer memory, and my cost. I have in the CPU, I have something called RAM, right? Random access memory. Is that volatile or non-volatile? Does that, something gets saved in RAM, does it disappear when my computer shuts off?
Yes.
Yes. RAM, you can put in your notes here, is volatile. Means that it's temporary, but it's faster than other types of memory usually. And this changes all the time. And we know that that arithmetic logic unit, basically this is it. I have my input, I have my output, I have my primary storage. Sometimes that primary storage, put in your notes here, is called RAM. Random access memory, and then I have secondary storage. The secondary storage is where I can store things more on a permanent basis. So you can think about it as disk, you can think about it as memory sticks, you can think about it as SSDs. Those are my secondary storage. And inputs from my software. And then I have something called the Moore's Law, that basically what Moore's Law means is this was engineer in Intel from, basically says that we're going to increase that miniaturization is going to be increased in the magnitude. So basically I have then the size, the speed gets higher, the size gets smaller, and the cost is less. So you can see a lot of times they use it in gaming and different types of things. This is, we'll talk about it later, this is the computer hierarchy. Basically a bit is zeros and ones. Basically if you're typing an email to me saying, Dr. Rushenick, I'd like to come to your conference. Every time you're typing a letter, that's basically a series of zeros and ones. That's how the computer reads it. It's either on or off. So basically, a byte is 8 of those. So basically, if I look at Jacob's name tag, that J has a series of 8 zeros and ones. Different combination. For each letter, it has it. But the beauty is, you don't have to learn how to write that. The computer then interprets it. And then they have something like quantum computing, so it's 0 or 1, it's either on or off. Anybody ever hear of quantum computing? Quantum computing means that this is basically like quantum physics, is that it's not either or, it could be it can be working at the same time. And those quantum computers are still in experimental stages, but they're going to be doing quite a bit in AI. And then you have kilobytes, megabytes, and gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes, but who cares? The whole idea here is that we're going to use this more and more for data analytics, so we're going to be able to store information. And that's that. That's the key. Chapter 2, the software, we'll cover next time we meet. So let's see what we need to do with the audit area, and I'll give you an assignment to do for your group, and then I'll spend time with people that are having issues. We'll set up new groups, and we'll proceed. So let's do this. So let's go to the audit area. Blackboard. Everybody with me? Good. Everybody awake? Good. Okay. It's hard, I know. Isn't it? So, in this case here, we want to go to the audit area. Where's my audit area? I have 2 audit areas. We're KY, right? By the way, I also teach the same class on Monday night. They missed last week because they missed this week, right? I haven't seen them in a while either. So if you'd like to, if you ever have any questions or anything, at the end of Monday night's class, it's in here, you can come see me as well. Okay, so let's do this. I want to go to course documents. And this is me. I'm in everybody's group. Okay, so I'm in everybody's group. So let's look at this one. I have right now, I have 12 groups. And I have group 7, Daniel and Evan, are they here? Yeah, okay, so you guys have 2 people. And then group, Hira and Mohammed, you have 2 people, so group 6 and 7. And group 4, James and Fuming, you want to put Evelina, you're going to put her in the group, she needs to put her phone number. So they have 3 now. So I have 2 people that can join that group. All right, group 1, let's see what we have here. So Gina, Tiffany, and Zina, how you pronounce that? Okay, so what have we got here? We've got group 1, so we got screencasting and video conference. So what you want to do too, guys, folks, you can start now working. And what I'm telling this group, guess what? It's going to pertain to every group. So the first thing while we're here is we want to do another folder called FinTech Assignment, right? You can make a folder called FinTech Assignment. You can do that while I'm doing it, while we're looking at here. So they got screencasting, and let's see what they did. Okay, so who did the first one? I'm going to pick on this group, and we're all going to know that you guys are lucky in the way that you're going to pick on, other groups are going to get picked on along the way. And we're using it as an agile development, meaning what? That we're going to give feedback to each other to make it better. Okay, so who did this one? Screencasting of your group.
That was mine.
Okay, so what's missing, Tiffany? Name.
My name.
Right, so one of the things is that you know that if you don't have your name now on it, put your name right. I don't have to use this for each group. Everybody's so good. Gina put her name on it, and
I can edit it?
yeah, edit it. Help each other, folks. That's the beauty. And then we got Screencast-O-Matic Pros, free without purpose. No glitches, cons, no background except at the watermark when you move your cursor, but it's not too annoying and does not get in the way. Okay, comes with, okay, so let's do this, folks. If you want to talk, what should you do? Folks, in this class, when you want to talk, when I'm talking, what should you do? Text, okay? Or basically do it. So let me erase here. So whenever you're going to upload, you're always going to put your name with the date that you upload. Why the date? And I would do the date, I do the date and time. Why? Everybody understand? Why did I say I need date and time? Gina, what?
So, you turned it on time?
Well, not only that, because we can start making up dates and times, right? But what's the purpose? That usually what we're going to do, what does agile development mean? Is it only going to be one version, Gina? No. It's probably going to be improved each time. So this way I'll know, instead of erasing it, you can say then basically that same thing, screencasting, and then you can add the date and time in which you made modifications. Okay, so we'll do name, date, and time. We want to be able also with this, in screencasting, where does it save it to? Where does the file get saved?
On my computer.
On premise, okay, it gets saved there. So you may want to do, besides name and time, is where is it stored? It could be cloud, and it could be basically on my computer, on the computer that you own. A lot of times it says what? On premises, right? Let's start sounding specific. So you want to be able to tell the name, where is it stored, This is good in terms of, Gina, that it comes with Mac. Does it also, is it also for Windows? So what we want to be able to know is the OS. What does OS stand for? The operating system. So is it going to be for Mac? Is it going to be for Windows? Is it going to be for others? Is it going to be for iOS? Is it going to be for Android? So this should be part of what you're doing. And while I'm stating this, you can start editing. Or you can put this in and then you can do it afterwards. So I need to know where it's stored. The OS. Can be uploaded anywhere. What does that mean, Gina? Can be uploaded anywhere.
Oh, you can upload it like to anywhere that you want, like YouTube, Vimeo.
Okay, does it automatically or you have to
You
say?
have to do it yourself.
Okay, you have to do it yourself. So what I would add here, Gina, is rather than anywhere, put where it is. YouTube, Instagram, what you have. And then what I would also add is what file format. And what do we mean by file format? What are the last letters of the file? And what is yours? Like MPG or MOV? The extension of the file name. Why is that important? Because for some other programs, we'll need to know that. And we'll need to know, will it automatically upload or is only after the fact? So on the upload, automatic or manual or both. Can I tell it in advance? For instance, right now, am I recording still? Am I live here, Cindy?
Yeah.
Automatically, that's going to my YouTube account. Once I set that up with my YouTube channel, when I broadcast here, it automatically uploads. So we don't have to, after the fact, tell Cindy, hey, now upload it. So that's the beauty. When we stop the recording, it's going to be automatically uploaded. So some of those things we have. To get the audio to work, right, QuickTime. And where did you get this, Gina?
Where did I get what?
The QuickTime. Was it on your computer?
It was already on my computer. I tried downloading something else, but there was something wrong with my
Okay,
internal
so
microphone.
basically then say how to get it.
Would
Yes.
that work?
So all these things have to be part of the title or in the text area?
In the text area.
Okay.
Just like Gina did an excellent job here in terms of putting it down with just what I'm looking for is not, so everybody can read it. You know what I mean? We're not looking for bullet points. That's basically it. But that we can kind of start comparing. And what is it? And take it basically as a way that we're going to improve it each time. And the cons then was tricky. Uses up bandwidth when uploading. What does that mean? Uses up bandwidth.
It takes up a large portion of bandwidth when
So
you upload it in comparison to other.
you mean the file is large?
Yeah.
So then what
Like
we
really
have to
large.
compared to what?
Well, on the other one, when I tried to do it, it saved without audio, and the file was a lot smaller, and you could even
Okay,
see
so
on
you can
TIFF
make the
smaller.
comparison. Rather than saying was large, because large is comparison. Basically, you can take it for the same 30 seconds, let's say it was, it was 1 gig here and it was 500 meg here. So give an example, because everybody see that she uses up bandwidth when loading. Of course it's going to use up bandwidth, right? So I want to be able that when you go out to the marketplace, Gina, you are going to be so capable and so articulate, they're going to go, wow. What's your major, Gina?
Finance.
Finance. And she said, hey, we're gonna hire, or you going being, you're gonna hire other people, you'll be able to know for your whole IT people, they're not gonna be able to sell you a bill of goods. That's what I want from you, okay? That you're gonna be so articulate, you're gonna be confident, that's what I want, that you're gonna be able to say, they're not gonna be able to snow me. Just because I'm a finance major, I know what I'm, great. And then ScreenFlow, so find out, put the URL or somewhere where you got this too. So the same thing here, so they need to do this, so, and then this is nice, so where is it? So you can see here already, you see the extension, that's an MOV, this is the ScreenFlow, so where was this pros in this case? Pros easy to use, there's a lot you can do on the system. This is a little bit vague here, I take that out, right? A lot you can do, but tell them what I can do. The videos help give you creativity, you can edit, add audio after. Can I add audio now?
Yes.
Okay, so expensive, what does expensive mean?
Well, there's like a free trial, but after that it's over 100.
Okay, so let's put the thing, free trial, how long is the free trial? You understand what we on, so put, excellent Bill point, put the cost, put this in your notes folks, put the cost. Free forever, free with a watermark, free for 2-minute clip. The cost, expensive, it depends for whom and what I want to do it for, right? What's expensive? For a corporation, you know, $1,000, you know, it depends on what, and what do I want to use it for? And what's the value for me in return? Perfect. You guys did an excellent job, and you're just gonna do for the second time around, you're just gonna improve. Okay, that's screencasting. Then if I look for course documents, again for this great group, they call themselves Group 1 for nothing, not for nothing, right? Then they do video conference. So this video conference, we got EZ, and tell me what that was. So you got a movie here, or what do you got here? So what was this?
It was a video conferencing website.
Okay. Okay.
And then in the movie, like, we just explained how to use it.
Using it?
Yeah.
And
Screen recorded it.
Did you screen? Did
I
you,
screencasted it and then uploaded
using
it.
what?
I used QuickTime Player just
Oh,
because
okay,
I'm
so
familiar
I'd
with it.
even say that. You know, either there's a website and application we use. So I put the first thing I would add. So let's do screencasting now. Let's do video conferencing. Oh.
I'm embarrassed. Please.
Okay, so we got it. I was gonna say you're talking to me in my computer.
Yeah.
What's going on here? I'm hearing your voice. Okay, but why don't I? Am I not seeing it, or my machine is not?
I don't know. When I uploaded it, it worked.
Okay, so we're gonna have to upload it again. Okay. So everybody got that part. Second part. I'm not going to go through all of these. I'm just using them as an example for group 1. Later on, we'll use another group, right? So let's go through video conferencing. So in video conferencing, the first thing you should do is what's the URL? How do I find it? The second thing here, it's free to sign up, but you can pay for more features. So in this case, again, what is it? What are the more features? So give an example. Oh, okay. Easy to use and navigate. You have up to 100 participants in a meeting. Offers screen sharing. Has an interactive whiteboard. That's good. Features an instant messaging where you can mute certain participants. Okay, can I record in it? Within the system, can I record?
I didn't see
Okay,
that.
but we gotta
but-
investigate. So this is for, my question I ask you, Gina, is telling everyone. You need the URL, you have to say within it, can I record? Yes or no? If I can record, what file type? And where is it stored? This is good, the number of participants. Can everybody talk
Yes.
at one time? So 100 people, I could have 100 people talk?
Yes, but there's also a feature where you can like I don't know how to like describe it, almost like a talking stick in a way where you could like say that like this person's gonna talk now and you can mute certain people so they can't talk at all.
Okay. Participants is good. Can have offer screen sharing, that's great. You should have to do screen sharing, you have to see, because that's gonna be important, just not to see your beautiful faces, right? But the whole purpose is you wanna be able to get to your different screen sharing. What else? Whiteboard, okay? Instant messaging where you can check in, mute certain participants, lock certain meetings. Okay, cons. If the call is already started, it's difficult to add someone new. Do the feature. Do you have like a URL? And here, this free version, put like what does that limit mean? Everyone in the call must have Easy Talks account. And where's it start? So what I ask you to do for next time in this group is find another one. And do another video conferencing program that you all can work together on. Okay? So in this case, and doing the same thing, and then you can do kind of like, then you can go back and forth and compare something with it. Do you understand, Dana? So then, and you have a set of tools here that I know already, we can use those for conferencing. And what's nice is, for your homeworks when you do it, you've already established who was in the meeting, right? So I imagine that all three of you were in the meeting, but let's say, you know, you got a fourth person, and that fourth person never participated. The beauty is once you have all these group homeworks together, when you record it, you have documentation. That you don't feel like you're the bad person. You know, all I'm stating is we had 5 meetings. Here's the results of those 5 meetings. That person didn't show up. Okay? So that's what I want you to do. And in the course then, if I went to, let me go to group 2, right? So it's beautiful, they've already done the feedback here. So they did that screencasting, right? They've done, Maddie did Adobe, Gianna did QuickTime, and Allie did this, the pros and cons, and then you'll be able then to make changes to those. Very good. And then if I go back to group 2, right, and I go to video conferencing, so what do? We do Cisco, pros, easy to use, great layout, ability to invite others, you can join, extremely easy. Cons, month free trial, then have to pay $1.50 a month to continue. How many people can I use?
I think it's unlimited.
Huh?
I think you can add as many people.
Can I?
I don't know.
And what about storing? And Maddie, WebEx, pros, and did you record your session?
We have it's like, we didn't do a session, we screencasted us giving a review on the.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's what
we're
we
gonna
did
go
too.
back now, same thing, is actually now record your session using it and take another one. Everybody with me? Why this is important? That's why I want it to be that you can think about it, that you can then speak intelligently and you make comparisons between the two. Also, what I don't like is I want you to find something that you can use throughout the semester. I don't want you to pay $1.50, and there's a number of them available. And you may, if you find those 2 that are not good, then find some others. Do some research, and already you want to have something that may not be for large amounts that you can have, but you want to find one that is free. Okay? And course documents again. So I have Kayla, Rachel, and Manal, right? So pros and cons. Right, so screencasting program, right? You can add what I've done before, and then we're missing the third person or what? Okay. So I don't have to tell you, I don't have to correct you on that. And then the third part, if you can think about it, is video conferencing software. We use then Skype, and what do we do? Who did this review? Your group. So you want to put your names to those groups of video call up to 25. Can I share my screen with Skype?
No.
I don't think so.
So we got to figure those out so we can share. So I'd like you to, if you take, for instance, Skype, then take Skype. Can you save your Skype? Can you save that recording? Everybody say, I don't think so. So you want to be able to say, because we want to be able to use this again. Right? So I want to take that Skype. I want to be able to use this again. And the issue then, and can I save it? Can I screen share? And then you need to take then a file to show that you're doing this. Try using that own program with it. Let me give you a couple of other suggestions that you can look at. Anybody use Zoom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Zoom is pretty good. Anyone use TeamViewer?
Yeah.
So TeamViewer, what I like about TeamViewer is that you can take control of somebody else's machine as well. So TeamViewer, Zoom, you can try out, Google Hangouts on air. You can find out others for those. Questions? So I want at least then, everybody understand what I want? So I want at least 2 video conferencing to record that I can go into and to state. Any others? Questions? I think and names have to be on there of who participated and what. Anybody that you want that I need to look at? Anybody want me to look at theirs to give feedback?
Yeah.
Which is your
Group
group?
6.
Group 6, okay? So if I look at group 6 here in screencasting, okay, we got the Muhammad, and then we have here, put your last name. Right?
If you don't have a group already.
Okay, you can make your own groups. That's the whole thing. Before we leave, we'll make sure that everybody has groups. Nobody leaves here without taking everything out of your pocket. We don't want anybody stealing the silverware or anything. Okay, and video conferencing, the same thing. In this case, do you have then a recording of that Zoom?
Yeah, we do. It's there.
Okay, and what's it using, and how can you upload and things, and then you want to do a second one as well, in comparison of the section. Any others? What? Yes, you need to do 2 video conferencing. And then you can go back and compare between the 2, because now you're saying it's good here and not. And with the WebEx, I'd even do another, the 2. If you're paying for it, I want 2 free ones.
2
Yes.
separate softwares, right?
Huh? 2 separate softwares. Yes. What else?
Do February 6th.
Huh?
The
Yeah, February 6th, when we come back. So we can have those perfectly done and we can do those. The next part, and you're wondering, what are we going to do next? The next part is what we're going to do is we're going to start looking at data and doing predictive analysis in data, starting to look at big data. Anybody doing data analytics? Who's my data analytics majors, right? We'll start looking at, and what's better than doing big data with data analytics? And we're going to be looking at the stock market, because that's big data, right? Can't get better than big data, and that we'll do that. And then what I would like you to do then for next time we meet is one more thing here, is I want you then to start looking at, for 2019, what looks like to be the best sectors for investment. what I'd like you to do is look at, among the sectors that you find the top 10 symbols. And we'll do some analysis when we get back. Yes?
Are we uploading that on this too?
In the FinTech section. You can do it in the thing. And then we'll do some fun things. And what I'd like you to do is bring your laptops for the next time we meet, and we'll start using Excel in forecasting, and then we'll move to other software platforms. So every week, and then I want everybody to be confident of what they do. So who now does not have groups? So what we got here is you do not have a group. Weren't you here last time? No? You don't have a group?
Yes.
So why don't you join these two right here? Okay, and what else do we have? We have 2 here. Who else? And we have 3 here. So you 3 can be a group. You can meet now, and you have to, what I need to do then is, who else? Everyone else is in group. We need, are you listed in the audit areas? Do you have an audit?
I don't have one.
Okay, do you have an audit? So then, Kate, stay with me, and we'll put you can register them, since you have teaching assistants, you can register them. Yes.
I had a group, but both of my partners dropped the course.
Okay. Was it because of you or because it was me?
No,
Not
it was
you.
definitely me.
It was definitely me. I don't feel. That was a joke. That was my joke. So let's see what we got here. Let's see if there's anybody. Group 7, Daniel and Evan. Where are you? You want to take it, Ryan?
Sure.
You got one. Okay? So you'll be here helping him. Okay? And did you need me to look at yours, Daniel? Let me just see yours, okay? See how 2 work. Screencast. So you need to put in your, in screencast thing, let's see here. You only have 1? Is this yours? Huh? So you need to put your name, each person has to do a separate screencasting. So folks, let's review what we have before we split. So Manal is going to be basically a person to summarize what we have. We got a lot of things. So Manal, what do we got to do? It's like a marathon, you know? Okay, Manal, what do we got to do? Rachel will help.
We have an assignment.
Okay,
for
so
FinTech.
so first of all, folks, first of all, we have the quizzes to do, right?
Right.
Chapter 1, TG1, and TG2A. Subscribe to the New York Times and Wall Street Journal. We got to do the trends in FinTech and external links. We have to find the best sectors for investment of the top symbols. In screencasting, each person has to do their own screencast. In the video conferencing, we need to have at least 2. Probably the best is to have 3. The advantage is they should be free for the entire semester. Because we're evaluating these to actually use, not just something. And then we have to find the best sectors, and then you can even put up a spreadsheet of what you found as the best sectors and some of those symbols, and what you found is why they're the best sectors. Yes?
Do you upload the best sector for investment into the document?
Yes. If you want to do the best sectors, you always want to put it in the audit area. You can even put it in the FinTech area, because that's going to be one of them. You can put FinTech, and then you can do like best sector kind of thing. Yes.
Visually, you put more of a group.
In in the best sector, it'll be individually and then you can merge it together to see the difference. Each one should come up with it, your best sector. Yes. Whose group are you in? Okay.
She also doesn't.
Okay, stay with me if you're not in there. Did you get Brian's information?
Should I pause the class?
Senior group?
Sorry.
You put him in?
Am I supposed to call
No,
and
he
pause
put him
it?
in. No, but I have to write that.